What's up, guys? Aussie Sim Commentator here. We're here live for the finale of Output Racing League Season 1 2019 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway here in Concord, North Carolina. With me in the broadcast booth today, I have the one and only Logan Lansford, the winner of the Eldora race. Logan, say hi to the people. As you can see here, practice is well underway, guys. We got a good field of cars. Currently we have 16 registered for the session, but that does include myself. So we've got 15 cars on track. We're getting ready to take on the finale here. At the moment, the leader of the charge is the league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez with a 29.870. Which is a pretty hard time to beat, wouldn't you say, Logan?
Yes, especially around here. It's a very tough time, especially when you start putting laps on the tires. It's kind of everyone's probably trying to do hot laps and stints trying to beat that time. I think it's a very hard time to beat, for sure.
Alrighty, now as we're looking through the list a little bit, we've got Jonathan Hernandez in second. And then title hopeful Matt Burgess starting now, going to be third at the moment in practice. And having a look down the list, the guy who's actually in lead, who was in the box seat to win the championship tonight, Thomas Harmon, down in 14th. Of course, it will say 15th on the positional ticker, but we say 14th because my time doesn't count. So it's looking like, at the moment at least, Thomas has got a big uphill fight to you know, try and get something done. It'll be very interesting to see how this race unfolds. What are you expecting out of this race here, Logan?
I'm expecting very exciting racing. This track is it's friendly to both lanes. You can run the high side, the middle, you know, the bottom is very friendly to all that kind of racing. So I'm expecting a lot of side by side. The green flag pit stops are going to be very interesting. It's going to be a struggle to get on the pit road for some of these guys, so we'll probably see a few of them guys practice it like we usually do here in the league.
Alrighty. Well, as Logan said, we've got multiple lanes of racing, as we can see on the screen here with the 8 and the 27, both of them experimenting with high and low lines. But we're going to head out on the track now to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what we got going on here. So you can see I'm in metric because, you know, Australia, 80 km/h pit road speed limit. Now, to take the best advantage of your opening lap coming out of the pits, you want to try and stay as close to full throttle as possible. We've got clear track behind us so we can move straight up to the wall. Take the high line going through the corner here. And cut down on the exit. That'll get you the best run to start your qualifying lap. Now with Charlotte, on the opening lap, you only need to do a little lift just to get the car settled into the corner. As you can see, I'm up on my previous time. I lost a little bit on the exit. Had to take a second stab at the throttle, maybe a third, and I'm in the wall. And that's how easy it is to get it wrong.
Looking at the board, Tyler Gary has popped up the very fast.
He has indeed.
Found a little bit of speed in the racetrack, which a lot of people seem to be struggling with right about now.
For the most part here, everyone's still just trying to feel out where the group is, where they can find time. And if you're daring enough, you can try and make the Larson line work, but you have to wait until fairly late in the tyre run when the tyres are a little bit harder to handle to get it working properly. So right up next to the wall. You still want to come down a little bit from the wall on exit. You don't want to ride it all the way around because the exit of turn 2 will bite you. And there's that wall again, and I've gone for a spin. On the positive side, I have kept it going. I've got plenty of room behind me so I can get back going again. Now let's try and see if we can get onto this pit road, which, as Logan said earlier, is not a very easy pit road to get onto. We want to come down on the apron quite early. And looks like we nailed it, no penalty. But as you can see, that was a very wild and out of control pit entrance.
Start looking for your sign.
Now we go back onto the action now. Now we've got this set to focus on crashes. And mostly what we're seeing is people coming in and out of the pits. See the 022 there of Wendell Scott. Oh, sorry, Wendell Lowe, sorry. Why did I say Scott? See the 026 of Tyler Geary there going for a little bit of a spin. He's taking it back to the pits. Got Frank Isaacson in the 8, down in 15th position at the moment. And right in front of him is Thomas Harmon, still down in 13th. Now I was saying earlier that Thomas Harmon's got a lot of work to do, but realistically all he has to do to win this championship is start the race. Which is quite the incredible feat. He has been the most consistent driver the entire season. Logan might have had a chance if he'd stuck with it for a little bit more.
We had a lot of bad weeks. It was definitely a struggle.
And we see people are starting to line up on the end of pit road here. Looks like they want to organise a pit party. So this will give everyone a little bit of an idea on how everyone is rolling. See, the pole man for this pit party is going to be the 27 of Jonathan Hernandez.
Actually moved up to second fastest as well. He's now jumped over Jonathan Hernandez before this all started to go down.
And that's not a surprise to see, because he was practicing with Jaron yesterday, and Jaron is the pole man at the moment.
Got a lot of practice in the past 2 days. I think this is going to be a good insight here to kind of give us an idea of what to expect tonight in the race. So, it'll be a very great insight to kind of expect to see.
As you can see them all forming up and getting ready to start here. The metaphorical pace car is in. And we're off and racing. Jonathan Hernandez gets a great start there. See, even Frank Isaacson's got a little bit of a jump on Jaron, who started outside the front row. And this is probably the highest that we'll ever see Wendell Lowe for this race. That's not a stab at his skill, it's just looking back on the previous few weeks, he hasn't exactly been the fastest car out there. And you see the showcase there of the multiple lines of racing. The 95 on the inside, the 022 on the outside. Oh, we got a spin at the back. That's Travis Massia.
Took a hard hit.
We've also got the 5 of Mark Penticuff involved in that one.
Also 3 wide off it too with Thomas Harmon, Matt Burgess, and Tyler Geary back there.
That's three of the fast guys. And we've got Wendell coming up off of the apron. Oh, Wendell has gotten it all wrong. Gotten in front of the 95. Got punted and went for a spin. Caleb had nowhere to go there when Wendell came up off the apron. As we now see the pack still working their way through 3 and 4 here. The 78 and the 27 getting pretty close. That's Jonathan Hernandez and Brian. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. I'm pretty sure I said it earlier in the Discord and I butchered it entirely. The pack looking like it's still being led there. Oh, is that Mark? It is indeed Mark Pentecoff. In front of Jaron right now. Jaron's been followed by Mr. Hernandez. We've got 3 wide in the back here. As Matt Burgess and Thomas Harmon go around the outside of the 78 of Brian. So the multiple groove racing here is definitely going to provide a lot of excitement for the race. Especially with cars that will be intentionally starting from the back to work their way through the field. We go back to focusing on crashes now. Looks like it still wants to stay here with Matt and Thomas. Matt just dipping those left side tyres just below the white line there, trying to get a little bit of an extra run on Thomas. Whether he can make a pass or not is another story though. Now we're looking back in the pack at the 8 of Frank Isaacson and now back up to the 38 and the 12. Mark has been passed by the 4 of Jaron Sanchez for the front. Now it's up to Jonathan Hernandez to get around Mark. And Matt has found his way to the inside of Thomas Harmon here. Couldn't quite get anything done with it. Thomas just too strong on the outside. I noticed earlier in practice I was getting a good run on the high side and I was actually pulling away from Matt a little bit. And my skill's not anywhere near the skill of Matt's, but he still wasn't wavering on getting off that white line. So that might be something that'll hold Matt back from this championship just a little bit.
This track's very much about momentum. As you see, Jonathan been looking good on Jaron. It's just all about getting your momentum built up. It's kind of like running it almost like a super speedway where you get that speed built up and then you jump out and try to pass someone. Basically, you're doing the same thing here. You can do it just by yourself, running that middle line and getting that run off the corner.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. You can see now Thomas and Matt have caught up to the back of Mark Pentecoff here as well. Jonathan couldn't quite get the move done on Jaron and he's fallen back very slightly. You can see the 5 of Mark Pentecoff acting as a spoiler in the source here. Just holding up Thomas and Matt just a very slightly. See Matt now making a dive underneath Mark. Gets the move done pretty easily. And Jonathan is going to try and get another run on the outside of Jaron for the lead.
A little imagine we see Jonathan pull this one off. He did it in the right corner. 1 and 2 is pretty friendly on the bottom. 3 and 4. It's a little more, you want to be on the top side if you can.
But if you can get that momentum off the high side in turn 2, then it sets you up really well for turn 3.
Yeah, it all just depends on how you exit 2, really, is how you enter 3 and 4. It's all about trying to keep that speed built up and basically teeter-tottering in that fine line, just not losing it.
Well, as we can see right there, Jonathan did get a good run through 1 and 2 on the high side. And it looks like he lost a little bit of his momentum on the high side of 3 and 4. Couldn't quite get clear of Jaron.
Thomas Harmon did that same thing earlier, running that Kyle Larson line off the exit. I noticed he got a huge run down into 2. So that Kyle Larson line may actually work more and more as this race goes along.
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier when I was doing the little practice laps there. That high line on older tyres will be pretty key later in the race.
But Thomas Harmon got a huge run off of 4 there, running that really high sides.
Looks like Jaron might be in a little bit of trouble here, getting trapped down low. Thomas running the Larson line. Getting a big run on the outside of Jaron. It looks like Matt Burgess is going to join him up there as well. Matt just running the middle. You can see right there, all 3 lines being used. Oh, Thomas got in the wall.
A little bit wrong.
And
that's the scary part about running the Larson line. There's always that possibility. Just a little bit wrong, you could be in the wall.
On the other side of that, at least it's a much softer contact than if you went from the bottom to the top. And you see now, Jonathan got it wrong. Jonathan, he's caused the big one. Oh, there is death and destruction behind. Travis Massiel was caught up in that. So too was Tyler Geary.
Jonathan seemed like he just pushed through the center of the corner right before you get to the exit and he pushed straight to the wall there. So that's something to be watching out for as they get on the older tires.
As we go back to focusing on crashes a little bit, we're looking back here at the 5 and the 21. That's Brian Chambliss and Mark Pentecoff. As we go back to the front now, see the action up here, you can see Matt trying to make a move on Jaron for the effective pit party lead. And this is going to give everyone a good idea of where they're at as far as a long green flag run is concerned. Especially around traffic with the guys that they will generally be running with. See Jaron now experimenting with that high line, getting the run coming off of turn 4, gapping Matt just a little bit.
This is definitely very good input, not just for us, but also for the drivers. They're figuring out what they want to run during the race, too. Especially when it comes down to the closing moments.
And this is what everything is going to boil down to, is making sure you've got the right idea of where you're going to be late in the run, especially when everyone else is on old tires.
Matt is making the bottom work. He's still hanging right around there. He's actually trying to make a move on Jaron here.
Yeah, you see Matt is running about a foot off of the white line there. He's getting a little bit of a run because it is the shorter way around compared to the line that Jaron's taking. But you just lose out on that little bit of momentum. And at a track like this, I think momentum is probably more key than running the short way around.
If you can somehow manage to get the pass down here in 1 and 2, you could probably carry the speed in the turn 4, but you just gotta clear the guy down the back straightaway. And if you don't clear him, you're not gonna be able to keep that momentum up on the exits.
Now we've got about 8 minutes left here in this practice session before we head on into qualifying. And you see, Matt just gave Jaron a big right rear up into the wall, and that's taken out Thomas Harmon as well. And that's the problem with close, fast racing. It can get ugly pretty quickly. As we see now, Jonathan Hernandez on the tail of Matt with fresher tyres. And Matt pulled out of that one, got a little bit tight on corner exit. See, Jonathan Hernandez just went and binned it. Now we've got about 7 minutes left in this session, which means that these guys are going to start looking at doing qualifying simulation runs, because they don't have enough time to try and attempt a long run. So they'll be trying to see what they can do to get going, as we see Matt practicing getting onto pit road and getting it all wrong. And for everyone who likes to play the stats at home, including myself, out of the 18 people registered for this race, the strength of field at the moment is a 1991. And that was a pretty good year from what I hear. I don't know, I was turning 1.
Watching the speed of these guys coming off of 4, they're having to go from basically 160 mile an hour down to 50 to make it to pit road.
And it's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination, because anytime you want to try and stop that quickly, it always ends badly.
It's all about just, you gotta have your braking down and be as safe as you can be. It's kind of hard to do that and keep all your speed up to try to complete that access on the pit road to make it the fastest you can. So,
as you can see now, the 20 of Justin Bowe has entered the session. Let's see what Justin can do in this race. On the road to Pro Series at the moment, Justin has been on the up and up lately. We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks here in Output. What's your opinion on Justin, Logan?
Justin is he's a really good driver, crazy driver. Every time I've been around him, he's always been very aggressive but very safe on his moves. I've never really seen him make a big mistake. He's very smooth, very I'm trying to think of the word here off the top of my head. It won't come to me. But he's very maniacal. You know, he's always thinking about what he's going to do next. He's always one step ahead of the person that's around him. And I think Justin, out of everyone here, if he'd have run this series all year, he'd be in right here fighting with Thomas Harmon and Matt probably for the championship.
So you saying that effectively Justin is the Triple H of Output Racing League, a bit of a cerebral assassin.
Basically, yes. I think Justin is one of those guys, and I think he's one of the best we got for sure. He's always fast no matter what he does.
Well, let's see what kind of a time Justin can pull here. He's just fresh off of a B fixed race. Not sure where he finished. And he gets a 30.123, which is only good enough for P12 at the moment.
Which, based off the track, it has actually slowed down a lot since everyone's been out there.
Alrighty guys, we're only just 3 minutes away from qualifying here right now. So hopefully we'll be seeing some more on-track action very shortly, with people coming out to do their qualifying simulation runs. As we can see here, we got I think that's Brian Beach catching up to the back of Justin right now. Oh, I've just had word through the chat here that Justin won his race. He won the B fixed race. There we go. So Justin, fresh off of a win, looking for a good result here in Output. As Brian Beach has just pip Justin for 12th position. Although I guess effectively that is P11. Alrighty guys, from here we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, cars will be gridding for the race. So we will see you very shortly. Or maybe not, because my Streamlabs is frozen up. Oh, there it goes. Alrighty guys, we are back, and it is indeed time to get started for the final round of Output Racing League Season 1 2019. On the pole we got the 026 of Tyler Gary. On his outside will be the 13 of Travis Massia. Starting out of P3 will be Thomas Harmon in the 38. On his outside will be the 27 of Jonathan Hernandez. Starting out of row 3 we got Brian Beach on the inside starting from 5th, and on his outside will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. On the next row we're going to have Matt Burgess out of 7th and Gerald West out of 8th. Brian Chambliss will start from P9 with Derek Myers out of P10. Brandon Bennett will be out of 11th with Caleb Finn out of 12th. Justin Botello will be out of 13th with Frank Isaacson starting from 14th. Then we're going to have the 100 of Jordan Berry starting from 15th with the 78 of Brian starting out of P16. I'm still not going to pronounce his last name. Starting from the 17th position we will have the 99 of Justin German, and on his outside will be the 5 of Mark Penticuff. Then we have no qualifying time recorded by Brian Stones, Wendell Lowe or Trevor Harmon, who I think is actually out of the session altogether. So we've got a good field here, 21 registered to take the green flag, with the 22 people in this server because Logan is here as a spectator to the server. We have a strength of field of 21-19. We have 3 B class drivers, 2 C class drivers, and everyone else is all A class. The pole time by Tyler Geary was a 29.833, which is very quick considering how slow the track got towards the end of practice there, Logan.
Yes, Travis Batsu actually held it for the longest time up until Tyler Gary put up his 29.833. So definitely looking at Travis Batsu to be quick on these short runs. Not sure he's going to be on the long runs, but we'll find out here very shortly, I guess.
Indeed we will, as the field starts coming through turn number 2. I think we're going to go for a slightly wider shot here for the race start. I say that and it pulled into a tighter shot. As we're getting ready to go. The pace car is in. We go on green for the first start, on the leader for all the restarts, and we are off and racing as all the flash bulbs in the crowd go off. Tyler out to a good leader already, clearing the 13 of Travis Massia there on the start. Thomas Harmon going right with him to stay in that second position. See, things are still starting to get sorted out a little bit here. Thomas now looking low on the 26 of Tyler. Couldn't quite get there, and that just goes to show how important these starts are, Logan.
Starts are very important, and if you get a good jump, you can get way out ahead of someone, and it makes it hard for the guy behind you to really try to figure out how to get you. And Tyler, I don't think anyone during that practice session, so not many people really know his line, so that's also a big curveball that we don't.
Now let's take a little bit of a look from the back of the 026 car. As soon as I find the right button to press, looking back at the 38 of Thomas Harmon sitting in P2 right now. This is one of the loudest camera angles we've got, so it may be a little bit hard to hear Logan while we're using it, but that's okay because Logan doesn't mind. You see, we've still got a lot of 2x2 action here, just a little bit back in the pack a little bit. Things could be starting to heat up very slightly. We're going to go back and have a look at what the 27 is up to. He was in 4th at the start of that last lap. He's now dropped down to P6. As we...
He's stuck on the bottom line.
Yeah, I just saw that myself. The 3 wide action. I know that had the 21 of Ryan Chambliss in it. Because you can't miss his car friggin' anywhere. You see, just up in front of them is title contender Matt Burgess, who has had a bit of a shocking start. He's dropped all the way down to the 9th position.
Back is really struggling to get stuff figured out and get lined up. So could be a lot of tire early into the race.
And it looks like here we've got to change the position. Jaron Sanchez up into the 3rd position in front of Travis Masia. Gerald West is looking to follow Jared up into P4. And that would demote Travis all the way back to the 5th position after being 3rd at the start of the previous lap. Travis...
Still running 3 wide back in the pack.
And at the same time, Travis just making a big move to the inside of Gerald. There might be contact there. Travis got a little bit tight in the middle of the corner, pushed up into Gerald a little bit. And now he is under threat from Derek. As we go 2 by 2. Unfortunately there, it looks like Brian Beach has got stuck behind Travis and is dropping like a stone with him. Speaking of stones, Brian Stone back in the 17th position here. It's right up behind Frank Isaacson. Doesn't look like he's getting much done back here. Hopefully he can start improving. He's not that bad of a driver. I have raced him on a couple of occasions. As we see Frank there in the 8 getting a little bit tight going through turn 4. He started to drop back a little bit now. As we're going to move up again back to the 27 of Jonathan Hernandez. Battling with Derek Myers, while just in front of them, Gerald and Jaron are having a battle as well. This is going to be for the 3rd position if Gerald can get it done. Just behind Jaron at the line there. Jaron maintains the 3rd position for now. Jaron just backed out of it there. Let Gerald have the position. As they're still battling behind him a little bit. See now the 12 is on the outside of 27. That's Matt Burgess and Jonathan Hernandez. Jonathan seems to be dropping a little bit. Got a little bit of a speed boost there going through the tri-oval though.
Justin is also putting people off here. He's up passing now. Escabella is moving through the field very slowly. Bottom for most of the time around too. So there's been finding the speed to get around a lot of these guys back in back.
Well, we do know that Justin does have race winning potential. He is a winner here in the Output Racing League this season. As he has got the 13 of Travis Masia right up his chuff right now. And it looks like things are starting to get a little bit sorted out now. Everyone's calming down a little bit. They're finding their groove. Things should be starting to get a little bit faster as everyone gets lined up and into a formation. As we're going to go check in with our leader now since it's been a little bit. Tyler still leading Thomas. He has almost a full second lead over Thomas right now. And Thomas has about a second and a half over Gerald in 3rd. And there's Thomas there. You could see the gap. It's not very big at all. And we're going to go back to Gerald West now in the 86. There he is. But right behind Gerald is this bit of a battle pack that's going on. It's been headed up by Jaron Sanchez right behind them. They're 2x2. It's Matt Burgess and Derek Myers.
Dustin German and Brian Chambliss. Two right behind them.
It's good to see Dustin German right up there. He had a terrible run last week. He's looking for some good results this week. I think Justin was involved in one of the bigger crashes we had last week.
Right behind them, creeping up is Justin Ocello. Kind of sneaking in on that backpack.
Well, it's definitely clear to see that Justin is catching up to these guys. We're going to have a quick little look from Justin's nose cam here. And this is one of the quieter camera angles we got, so it should be no problem hearing what Logan has to say. See Justin now running that high line right up on that little bit of a groove in the track there. Starts working the lower line in 3 and 4, catching right up to the back of the 27 of Jonathan Hernandez. Oh, who is looks like he's currently experiencing some internet problems. Either that, or someone's trying to teleport him to the future to save the world.
Justin started to kick to the inside. Justin might get him down here. Guess we'll go back in line. We'll see how Justin runs against him here. See if he decides to run for a battle. If this group in front of them is really checking up both of these guys, it hurts whenever people are racing because it allows people like Justin and those that are behind these guys to really start gaining the ground. And it goes from being a 5-car pack to 7 to 8 cars.
Now it looks like Justin has gotten up to the inside of Jonathan there. As you see Jaron falling back towards the clutches of Justin.
It's Justin cleared Jonathan and now he's working on Jaron. He's trying to peek to the inside and see if he can get underneath Jaron and give him a run.
Looks like Jaron started to fight back there on the outside of Brian Chambliss. Very close, hard, fast racing here at the start of the race. It's great to see that we've got such a quality field on show for you guys here tonight. As you now see, Brian Chambliss was trying to look for a way around the 54 of Derek Myers there. Couldn't quite get anything done, as we see Justin now on the inside of Jaron. And he gets the move done going into 1 and 2.
Clears him too. Just lined up in front of him. Maybe now Jonathan actually gets some nose underneath Jaron.
I'm not sure what's going on with Jaron. He might have a little bit of a mechanical issue. Because he just seems to not have very much pace. Either that or he's used up all that his tyres had to offer. Quick update on our leaders. Tyler now has a 1.5 second lead over Thomas Harmon. And it's about another 2 seconds back to Gerald from there.
Tyler is still running blazing fast. Thomas isn't too far off, but it's enough for Tyler to continue the gap on him.
As we go and check in on Tyler now. I say let's have a look at his gyro cam, but all we'd see is the track. But that doesn't mean we're not going to go check it out anyway. How's this for a view, ladies and gentlemen? It's not very often that we get to see the inner workings of the race cars as they're going around. I mean, effectively right now we are looking over his shoulder at what's going on in front of him. very gentle on the throttle, which is helping him to pull away. We're back in the pack again now. We're looking at the 54 of Derek Myers. It looks like Brian Chambliss is going to have a move on him around the inside.
This is a battle that's been during here just for a little bit. So it kind of took it side by side for about 2 turns, and then we went back to being nose to tail like we are right about now.
And it looks like Brian is actually going into the pits. So is Dustin German and Gerald West.
So the fuel window is open for a few of these guys, so we'll see how it pays off for some of these guys.
We're going to go back in and check in on our leader again. It should be the 026 of Tyler Geary. He goes past the pit lane this time. What does Thomas Harmon do? Thomas is in the pits. Oh, he's very loose. He's gone. He's spun it. He's hit the wall on the inside. Oh, that is terrible. Oh, Caleb. Oh, it's absolutely disastrous on the second lap of pit stops.
So,
as we're going to go, and we're going back to check in on our leader again, and again, it looks like he's rolling past the pits.
Which he might have saved a little bit of fuel. As you noted, he was being very smooth on the throttle, not really getting on it too hard, just taking his time. As we have more guys on pit road.
Yeah, now we've got Derek Myers, Justin Botello, and Jaron Sanchez in the pits.
Which Frank Isaacson and Brian are also. I ain't gonna bother trying to do his last name myself. And Mark Pentecoff will also join them on pit road.
And our leader is now going to pit road. Tyler has just hit pit road. Very nicely controlled getting into the pits there.
Matt Burgess is also joining, as is Jonathan Hernandez.
And this is just going to leave.
Oh, the 25 of Brian Stones is off, and Travis Massier spun it going into pit road.
Oh, that is disastrous for them. But it looks like at the moment we've got Brandon Bennett in control of this race. The one car with the monster sponsorship on it. Green flame job on the black paint. It's looking like a pretty good paint job here, and he's going to head to pit road now as well. As you see, the 21 of Brian Chambliss just got around him. A little bit loose on the pit entry, but he still made it look good. Now with Brandon here taken to the pits, that means that everyone has been into the pits. Brandon's going to get points for leading a lap. As we go back to focusing on Tyler now, it looks like he is on the back of the 86 of Gerald West. He's already gotten around Dustin German in the 99.
Gerald West is taking a lead here. Pit stops for them going in on that paid off just a little bit. Now 86 Gerald West is taking the lead, and Tyler being that lap late. Or 2 laps late, I guess, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, so he definitely lost out on the undercut there to Gerald, but it also means that he's going to have the slightly fresher tyres to attack Gerald with.
Which he's doing right now, as they come up on a lap car at Caleb Finn.
And now 3 wide going around Caleb there. That is control at its finest. And Gerald is a former winner here at ORL. He won a couple of the races towards the end of last season when we were running the B cars. Tyler still just can't quite get that move done. Gerald working the strategy to absolute perfection, being one of the first cars into the pits.
And just behind them, Dustin Jordan also joined Gerald on that pit stop run. So it's paid off for the both of them. They've moved up quite a bit compared to where they were before the pit stop.
And that's the amazing thing about pit strategy. If you play it right, it can work well in your favor, and the undercut is definitely a strategy that works here. As we can see,
Tyler's making a move.
Let's see if he can pull it off this time. He goes to the inside, right down to the white line. Gerald looking for that momentum up high.
They're about even.
I don't think there's going to be very much that separates these two at all. Looks like
say it all.
Tyler couldn't quite get clear there. Gerald with the big run off of turn 4. Back side by side for the entry to turn 1. Can Tyler get him clear this time? He can. I think Gerald just gave him a little bit of a bump there to say, hey, that was a nice move, man. And now it's back to being the Tyler show, but Gerald's still right there on his tail. What we've seen previously was it took a few laps, but Tyler started to just gap everyone. Just like he did last week. And it looks like Tyler now starting to get a little bit of that advantage going with the slightly fresher tyres than Gerald. But with Gerald being this close to Tyler, it might be worth considering doing another undercut to try and gain that advantage.
Especially being this close, it would definitely work a lot better than what it did before. Because I don't recall exactly what he went before this pit stop, but I know he gained a lot of positions and it paid off very well for him. So another undercut could definitely pay off even bigger. It's just a matter of, will you have enough fuel to make it to the end whenever that stop comes around because you undercut so much?
And that is the big question, is now we go back to focusing on the 21 and the 54. These guys have been battling for the majority of the race here now. And they are actually locked in battle for the 4th position. Right behind them is the 20 of Justin Patello, and here goes Derek on the inside of Brian. Derek couldn't quite get it done there. In fact, it looks like he washed up the track a little bit, maybe got a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. He lost a lot of time to Brian there, and has allowed Justin to close right up to his tailgate.
Yes, I'm not thinking of the inside.
He's just having a peek. Derek letting him know that he's not going to make the move easy for Justin. But right now, Derek's just pulling Justin up towards Brian. And right behind them is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, ready to pounce at a moment's notice.
Jaron right now is just kind of sitting there tailgating off of these guys, letting them do their thing, kind of just watching them, waiting for that one little mistake, and then, as you said, he will pounce and take that spot up as soon as he shows himself.
And it's good to see Jaron doing well. He hasn't had the best of runs here lately in the past few weeks.
Justin makes that move to the inside.
Justin keeps his nose up there as these guys are catching up to the back of the 25. That is the lap down car of Brian Stones, down in the 18th position. It looks like we've actually lost Brian Beach from the race. Having a look at my little standings sheet here, it looks like he has indeed disconnected from the server. As we see Justin now trying to pull a move on Brian, trying to use the other Brian as a pit. Couldn't quite get it done. He's fallen back to the clutches of Derek now.
Jerry is slowly closing in on these guys as well.
Let's actually go into Jaron's car and look in his gyro cam at this battle unfolding ahead. It looks like we might be having a couple of server issues as these guys go 3 wide.
Ryan stones the lap car all the way up on the top side.
Oh, and he's just blocked Jaron.
Oh.
He just came up right in front of Jaron. That ruined Jaron's momentum there a little bit.
Justin is still fighting on the bottom of these guys. That's 54, Derek Myers is literally pushing the 21 of Ryan Chambliss on the back straightaway. And they're going to take it 3 wide off the exit of the turn.
And Justin's got them both. Justin has just come up and taken them both. Taken 4th place.
And Jaron is now caught up to them because of these moves.
You see Jaron right there in the 4 car. Right on the tail of Brian. He's going to make the move going into turn 3 on the low side.
There's not enough momentum to really get him clear. Brian will hold him off.
Now we're going to watch this battle unfold from the tail of the 54. Looks like they haven't got much going on at the moment. Jaron now going to look inside. These guys still have the lap down car of Brian Stone's right behind them.
Turn 4 is going to be a hard one to make the pass on. Not sure why Caleb Ben was on pit road, but he just exited pit road.
He might have been going in to get some of that damage repaired from his pit lane spin out.
Could be. Got my attention. He was exiting pit road as they were driving by.
As we see now, Jaron has gotten past Brian, which promotes Jaron up into the 6th position now.
Now there's a little gap between them and Derek Myers, so a little bit of time to make up for all that is. Brian's actually moving back to the inside here on the exit. Turn 2.
He thinks better of it because he knows Jaron would get the run off the high side of turn 4 there.
Of which the 99 is back on pit road, so is the 86. As they have started pit roads again. I guess that's what Caleb was after. They're trying to undercut and get his lap back.
Well, it's very possible because we are now 48 laps into this race. A lot of these guys will be getting fairly close to their pit cycles.
Yep.
Oh, as it seems that my connection to the server has been a little bit sketchy for this race. Things getting a little bit glitchy.
Fairly Gary.
I don't think we'll see Tyler in the pits for at least another 5 laps. It looks like Tyler now starting to play around a little bit. Going low on the back straight.
Has actually been promoted.
Up into P2. Which is amazing considering that Justin started out of the 13th position. That puts him right in the box seat for the Hard Charger Award.
And Tyler and Justin have only 1 lap difference in between their last pit runs, so we'll likely be seeing them pit right, if not together, Justin probably a lap before him.
Well, as we see Tyler goes straight past the pits there. Go have a look at Justin. Justin's past the pits. Derek's past the pits. Jaron's past the pits.
In which Justin, Jaron, and Derek are all in the same pit strategy.
Alright, let's see what Tyler does this time. Will Tyler go down pit road? No, he's blowing straight by it. Justin's going by as well.
Baron and Derek are also going by it.
And they're also dealing with the 5 of Mark Pentecoff, who was not on the lead lap. We've got Thomas Harmon in the pits. He's going for the undercut opportunity. And we've also got Gerald making a move there on Jaron. Gerald trying to take advantage of the undercut again.
Justin is coming to pit road this time.
Alright, so we've got Justin in the pits.
Derek
nice pit stop.
Brian Chambliss as well.
Oh, Brian Chambliss, he's gone.
A little bit wrong.
He spun it on pit entry. That's not going to be good for him. He's got to be careful with turning around. Doesn't want to get a penalty.
Pilot Gary joins, or does he go around one more?
Well, let's have a look. It sounds like he's coming in. And he is in. Nice pit entry again.
Jaron is also coming to pit road. Jaron, very smooth pit entry as well.
Well, I'm glad you can see it because I couldn't. We've got Jonathan Hernandez still on track and the 12 of Matt Burgess. They're
7 laps under their run.
And they're currently first and second as things stand.
Jonathan will not be making it to pit road unless Justin Jeremy gets out of the way. We'll have to go around one more time.
It looked like he wanted to go around one more time regardless. We've still got Matt Burgess on track. Looks like we've also got Travis Massier and Brandon Bennett still on track as well. As Jonathan has just earned himself points for leading that lap.
Which Matt may attempt to stay out one more lap longer to see if he can get that extra point, and he may have to come to pit road or he may run out of fuel.
Well, Travis Massier has gone to the pits now. And we see that 27 of Jonathan Hernandez is making his way to the pits. Matt Burgess missed the pits. He missed pit entry. Oh, that is not going to be well for him.
That'll be an extra point to his name. Not what he wanted to do, but...
And it looks like as things stand, Gerald West has used the undercut to his advantage again. And he is in fact in front of Tyler again.
Brandon Bennett has hit pit road. Yeah, he's got almost he's got a pretty good lead over him. From Gerald West to Tyler.
I think Matt's out of fuel. I think Matt's out of fuel. He's rolling. I don't hear any engine noise. He's rolling into the pits.
Which is what I was worried about, him having to go that extra lap. I knew they were pushing it far.
He did get points for leading that lap though.
He's just got to get to his pit stall. If he can make it to his pit stall, he'll be alright.
But he is definitely out of fuel. He's not got any speed at all going down the pit lane here.
He is losing speed as he goes along. He's almost to his pit stall. He's made it to his pit stall.
Now he's got to hope that he doesn't overshoot it. Looks like he's safe.
He's somehow pulled it off. Gerald West is taking the lead. As you said, the undercut worked with an affection this go around.
Yeah, as it stands right now, Gerald has a good 3.5 second lead over Tyler, using the undercut to absolute perfection. Second place is obviously Tyler Gary. Third place, Justin German. Fourth will be Justin Botello. Fifth, Derek Myers. And sixth place is Jaron Sanchez, with Jonathan Hernandez up into P7. It looks like we only have 10 cars on the lead laps, with Brian Chambliss out of 8th, Thomas Harmon in 9th, and Jordan Barry in 10th position right now. And those last three names, Brian, Thomas and Jordan, look like they're actually not far away from being put a lap down as well. But it looks like the timing monitor might be a little bit stuffed up, because I think Brian did recently just come out of the pits. So he might indeed be a lap down. We'll just have to wait for him to cross the line so it can all get sorted out. The fastest lap of the race was actually set by Tyler at a 30.014. And Brian is indeed in 8th. The timing monitor was not wrong. But in saying that, Tyler has closed a full 1.5 seconds on Gerald. There's nothing separating these two drivers right now. Gerald on almost 6 lap older tires than what Tyler's on.
Gerald's got only about 12 to 13 more laps of fuel before he has to pit again.
And it definitely seems that my connection to the server is really playing havoc. I have lost everyone. And now we're all back. I'm not sure what's going on, but the internet is definitely not playing the game right now.
Based off those numbers that I just stated, if Gerald was to undercut again here within the next 12 laps, he'd really be pushing it to make it to the end of this race.
I think he will be pushing it to make it anyway. I think if he's going to try and make this work properly, he's going to have to do this in a long run. Which means he's going to have to try and hold up Tyler as much as he can. Because no matter when Gerald pits next, he will still be getting an undercut on Tyler. As long as he can save enough fuel to make it to the end of the race.
He's looking at about 24 to go based off when he's been pitting. 24, 25, around there. Which he can make it on one fuel run. It's just a matter of will Tyler catch him on the fresher tires.
And that is the big question that we're asking here. Let us know in the comments of this broadcast. What do you guys think?
Tyler's made the move for the lead.
Gerald made it very easy for him, just gave him the outside and said, look, I know you're faster and I'll let you have it.
The good thing for Gerald though is now he's in line, and if he can hang in with Tyler, he'll get a free grab and could possibly save just a little bit more fuel per lap.
I'm not sure he'll be able to do it because I think he used up so much of his tires to begin with that he's now just starting to drop back. You can see there he's also just about to get taken again by the lap down car of Travis Massia, who is down in the 11th position right now. As we're having a look now at our 3rd place driver, Justin Botello. Justin in a little bit of no man's land with a lapped car in front of him. I'm pretty sure that's a lap car behind him as well.
Of the 99 of Dustin Vernon.
Oh, it's not.
Him, and that's the 4th place car.
Yep, you are correct. I'm wrong. I didn't see who it was, so I wasn't able to tell.
I mean, Jared and Derek are also going at it back here.
These guys are fighting tooth and nail. This is for the 5th position. Jaron with a big run down low on Derek. Does he have the legs to make it work? Not quite. Derek with the momentum up high.
Down to 33 to go.
Derek in the wall. Taking it too high on the entry there to turn 1. Jaron's now got the run down low. Can he make anything of it? Still not quite. That Larson line proven pretty good. Who needs a Darlington stripe when you can have yourself a Charlotte stripe?
Derek's still holding them off. Got a little bit of a run. Jared got a pretty decent run off the exit, but down the straightaway is kind of falling off. Giving the favor to Derek. Jared wants to go back to the inside. They're actually catching Dustin and German while running side by side.
Well, see, these guys do have fairly similar tyres. Jaren's are just 1 lap fresher, but they are both at least 5 laps fresher tyres than German, who they are just about to overtake now.
And I do believe Gerald West is getting ready to come up to the pit window, which is a lot earlier, unless he's saving enough fuel to hold it off. I believe Matt Burgess went 27 laps and then ran out of fuel. So you're looking at probably 26 laps for you to run out. So what's the edge of their run?
And it is that fine edge that these drivers want to try and find, as we can still see Jaren and Derek battling it out hard here, now for the 4th position since they've disposed of Dustin German. Jaren looking for the low run. Can he get it done this time going through turn 2? Still just can't get it done. And this goes back to what we were saying in the pre-race show, where later in the run, that high line really is key. In saying that, Jaren just made a big move up the inside in turns 3 and 4, and he's got Derek cleared going into turn 1. Cleared him with authority, to working his tail right in front of Derek's nose.
Derek is stretching this to the max right now.
Derek is now working lap 26 of his run since he went into the pits.
Gerald is also working lap 26 and trying to maintain a good pace, but also trying to stay just close enough. He's got to at least, I would think, have to knock off another 3 laps into this fuel run, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
I think he's trying to go to pits. He missed it. He's going to get a penalty here. He's going to get a penalty for a illegal entry into the pits.
That's, I believe, a 15-second penalty.
Either way, it's going to be a lot more than that, because he'll have to make another trip down pit road to serve it. So that is unfortunate for him. Brian Chambliss in the 21 is also in the pits. And so is Matt Burgess, I do believe.
Tyler Gary's also hit pit road.
With 27 laps to go, everyone is going to be pushing the absolute limit here to make it to the end.
I think the best position right now, as in people that are guaranteed to make it, will be Justin Botello, Jaren, and Derek A. Myers. I believe those 3 are going to be, and Jonathan Hernandez. Those 3 look like they'll be the only ones guaranteed to make it on this fuel run to the very end of the race.
Now, I do believe you're correct, but if I was these guys, I would push it 1 more, so that way, when I came back out onto the track, I wouldn't have to hold back, as we're now looking at the 20 of Justin.
Derek had the pit. Derek, I knew, was very close to being on that fuel run.
Well, Derek was working lap 23 of his run there. Justin currently on lap 24 of it. Jaren's on 23, and Jonathan Hernandez is on lap 21 of his run.
I do believe Justin could go maybe 1 more if he had wanted to, but he'd be pushing it. It looks like he will go 1 more.
Oh, I don't believe that is the right choice. I think Justin's going to lose out here when it comes for the undercut, as both Jaren and Jonathan are in the pits.
Tyler Gary is just in front of Justin. He's 2 cars ahead of him, so it might pay off in his favor. He's got to hit a perfect pit road entry. He cannot make any mistakes. Because Justin looks like...
Yeah, Justin's heading down the pits now. Oh, slidey entry. And he's gone.
Oh.
Gasses it up to get spun back around, but that is going to lose him any advantage that he would have had, which is going to absolutely gift the win to Tyler right now. As we bring Tyler back up onto the screen. One thing we haven't talked about here is maybe a little bit of tyre strategy, because we know that the fuel will fill up before the tyres are done 9 times out of 10. Do you reckon anyone might have taken a chance on taking 2?
I don't believe so, just because you're already going to sit there or try to get that full tank of fuel just to guarantee yourself to the end. 2 tires, I think, is a little bit too much of a guess. I don't think it's worth it. Because once you get that right side tire wear, you might be in trouble. So I just, for me, I wouldn't be doing it. But you know, I do think we probably have different strategies. Obviously, everyone in here has completely different strategies than what we would have.
And in breaking news, Justin is now 1 lap down, currently in the 5th position, and falling. So you see,
Bennett is working lap 24 of this run, still out there and going.
and that is crazy. If I was him, I would have pit a couple of laps ago.
The only good thing about this is that, again, he is guaranteed to finish after this run. But in his case, I might be taking 2 tires and just trying something different. Get me off pit road just a little bit quicker.
And maybe that is exactly what his plan is. We could be looking at a strategical genius here in Brandon Bennett.
He's got to go one more. He's working lap 26 of this run now.
We've got 20 laps to go in this race. This is when things are going to start heating up. So if a caution was to come out, it would be within the next 20 laps.
Bennett is definitely coming to pit road this time.
Yeah, I think he started to cough and splutter on the back straight there. It looks like he's out of the gas way more than he should be. And here he comes down pit road now. I reckon a good strategy for him would be to take 2. So that way as soon as the fuel's done, he can go.
He's got 19 to go, so he's guaranteed to go to the end here.
Might also experiment with underfilling the car a little bit. You know, not putting in the full tank.
Putting him a lap down. He's going by now.
We've also got Mark Penticup heading into the pits, who was working lap 27 of his run. As we now go back to looking at our leader, Tyler Gary. And I think we only have 7 cars on the lead lap now. We got Tyler Gary, we got the 54 Derek Myers in second, about 11.5 seconds adrift. If another 5 seconds behind him is the 99 of Dustin German. Jonathan Hernandez 20 seconds off the lead in 4th. Brian Chambliss in the 21 car is currently sitting 5th, just behind Jonathan. Now we've also got Thomas Harmon sitting up in P6 and Jaron Sanchez in P7. And Justin Botello looks like he is indeed the first car 1 lap down. As we go back to focusing on our leader here. The fastest time for the last lap was actually done by Jonathan Hernandez at a 30.491. He's got a couple laps fresher tyres than Tyler here.
And with Jonathan ran another fast lap compared to everyone else with a 30.573. So Jonathan is running quick laps.
And they're at least 4/10 faster than the times that Tyler is able to pump out here. With 15 to go.
The only problem is Jonathan's just not getting to the front straightaway while, you know, Tyler is just not getting into turn 3.
Yeah.
They got a very big distance between those two who try to gap up before the end of this race. I just don't think he has enough time.
Yeah, it is quite the gap here that Tyler has amassed. I honestly don't think that anything or anyone will be able to catch him unless he has a fuel drama, because he did pit quite early. He's working lap 13 of his run, and there's 14 laps left in this race.
I was kind of looking at everyone going 26 laps. Lap 27 are running out of fuel. So Derek A. Myers might be just in the right spot to run out of fuel coming to the line, more so than running out after after they take the white flag. So
Well,
Derek A. Myers might be in a prime spot depending on how much Tyler has saved.
well, Derek did come into the pits 2 laps after Tyler, so he only had to do a 25 lap run to make it to the end.
So he's looking really good right now to finish off this race. Dustin German is actually coming to pit road right now.
Dustin coming into the pits, that was crazy. He's only working lap 13 of his run. I don't think he thought he could make it.
I believe he towed from whatever reason.
Oh. We might have to go back and see if we can see why he towed.
That will promote Jonathan Hernandez up to 3rd. Who's still running faster lap times than your leader.
He's in the pits and he just pulls over to the side and tows. And he has exited the server. So I'm not sure what was going on for Dustin there, but he has exited the server after being in a fairly strong position there. He might have other commitments that he's got to make sure he's awake for.
Jonathan Hernandez is still running the fastest times out of the top guys on the lead lap here. The top 6 on the lead laps now. So Hernandez is still putting good times up. He just doesn't have enough time to get there. He's going to need a caution.
You know, at the moment, Jonathan is the only car on the lead lap still running in the 32nd lap bracket. With 10 laps to go, Jonathan pumps out a 31.058 now. But he is so close to being a lap down. Derek was one of the faster cars on and off of pit road with a 13.9 second stop.
That might have been a 2-tire stop in his move.
If you're looking for a 2-tire stop, I would actually look at Matt Burgess. He had a 6.3 second stop.
That might have been fuel only, trying to make up ground on Thomas Harmon, but I think he did have that issue on pit road.
Ah, indeed, you're correct, he did.
So that might have been a fuel only, and Gary just trying to make up as much time as possible.
As now we look at Tyler working his way through traffic a little bit here. Now this will make him probably use up his stuff a little bit more, because he'd want to get around them because they are slower than him. He wouldn't want to get held up at all.
But I do believe with the 12-second lead, he's not going to be in too big of a rush. We'll see a lot of these guys just pull over and get out of the way for him.
As we could see there with the, I think that was a 95 of Caleb Finn going to the Larson line to let Tyler through on the low side.
Tyler will start to be catching up here on Matt Burgess to the next one on his sights to get out of his way and put down another lap. We're down with 6 to go now.
Well, this is a bit of a bad showing for Matt, all the way down in the 12th position. He is 2 laps down as it stands. Oh, no, only 1, sorry. He's almost 2 laps down as it stands.
Quite the opposite for Thomas Hartman, who was promoted up to 5th.
But he is still 27 seconds off the lead, which means he could go down a lap at any moment in time, but it won't matter because pretty sure he has the title wrapped up here. All he realistically had to do was start the race.
Tyler, Gary, and Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez is still running fast. A lot of times there's just not enough time. Tyler Gary is running the faster lap time between him and Derek A. Myers. Derek is still losing ground on him.
And as we cross the line, we're going to have 4 laps to go in this race. If a caution was to come out, that would be the end of the race. So it looks like we're going to have the winner in Tyler Gary, unless a disaster strikes him.
Which he's 23 laps into the fuel run. So if he hasn't been saving, he could be in trouble.
I guess
Which
that's
I
just...
highly doubt that he hasn't been, because I don't know if you remember in Vegas, that's what he did to everyone there. He fuel saved and he got that win there as well.
I wasn't there for Vegas.
Oh, you weren't?
That was when the computer died, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sorry for a little bit of a fourth wall break there, guys. But we've still got Tyler Gary right up in the lead, putting a second lap down on Matt Burgess now. I don't think anyone will be able to stop Tyler.
I don't believe so.
And Tyler does have the third highest I rating out of all the drivers here. The highest is actually Justin Botello with a 51.69. Second is Gerald West in the 86 car, who unfortunately has disconnected from the server with a 42.38.
We'll be coming with one to go here at the line.
And it looks like my internet has started to play up again, but we're back. We got Tyler back up on the screen. Here he goes to start his last lap. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it.
It does sound like he feels so just enough to get it to the end. Most of you guys are stuttering off the 2.
And here he comes around turn 4 for the final time. Tyler Gary, absolutely dominant again, getting the win. Second place is going to go to Derek Myers, who sounds like he is sputtering coming out of turn 4. And third place will be the 27 of Jonathan Hernandez. Alrighty guys, we're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back we will have the interviews with the top 3 drivers, so make sure you stick around for that. Alrighty, guys, it's time to go through our top three. We're starting things off here with the number 27 of the one and only Jonathan Hernandez. Jonathan, this I think is probably your best result here for us, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I had so many good runs throughout the season, but this one just, I don't know what went well for me.
Well, I think there was a lot of advantage in performing the undercut. And you were working on lap 25 of that run, which was actually a little bit of an overcut compared to the two guys in front of you. But it seemed that you gained a lot of advantage from undercutting early and coming through and working your way back through from there.
Yeah, during the first round of pit stops, I pitted with everybody. The second time, I decided to change it up a little bit because I never knew if there was going to be a caution or not throughout the race at a random point, and I was just hoping it wouldn't come out while I was pitting.
So talk to us about your race a little bit, man. What was the mindset that you had throughout the entire race, and how did you pull off what you had decided to do?
Well, coming into the race, I just wanted a good performance, at least rack up some points towards the end of the season, overall standings, and qualify third or qualify fourth. And early in the race, I fell back due to being on the bottom while everybody had to run on the outside. But once the race got into motion and everybody got settled in, it seemed like I could start getting bumped on people. How I had, I believe it was Dustin in '99. I caught him from 6 seconds back, and you know, this race, anything could have went, and I'm just glad it went towards my way.
Alrighty, well that's good to hear, man. While we got you up here, is there anyone you'd like to thank for helping you out here tonight?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Darren for this amazing league, and the I want to also congratulate Thomas on his championship. I know it was sort of coming at the same time. He had it racked up. I'm pretty sure from the beginning of the season. So I would like to thank my brother for watching the streams too, even if he's not awake right now. I know he'll watch in the morning, and I'm just ready for next season.
Alrighty, well thank you very much, Jonathan. Congratulations on your first podium. Um,
Thank you.
it's absolutely amazing, man, and we'll see you next season in the A cars.
Alrighty, have fun. Hope y'all enjoyed the broadcast.
Alrighty, guys, so that was the 27 of Jonathan Hernandez. His first podium, Logan. What an incredible drive.
That was a very incredible drive. Like you said there, he was trying to undercut there for a while, and then he realized he was going to be the same strategy as everyone else, and he had to swap it up to get that top three spot, and it paid off for him. So what a good night to pull it off on, especially on the last night, and I guess that's a good jump for next season to be ready.
Indeed, it is, and it's just like our next driver, someone that we haven't seen for a while, and at the same time going from 10th to 10th to 2nd, sorry, to become our hard charger for this evening. We are going to be, of course, talking to the 54 of Derek Myers. Derek, man, what a race! Fuel strategy, undercuts, overcuts. Where did you sit in all that, man?
Oh yeah, it was a fun race. I wish I would have had more practice. I only had that one lap of qualifying to see what the truck would do, and we made our way up through there following Jerry. We were slicing and dicing. It was a lot of fun to get up there. Uh, I don't know. Tyler Gary, he had a fast truck. I was hoping we get a caution there at the end, 10 or 15 lap run or something, so I could see how I could stack up with him and maybe learn and see what he was doing that was better than me, and then stay with him and possibly do something. But it's nice to be back in the top three after having multiple fast cars capable of winning some races, maybe, and just not getting the finishes. But tonight we got a good finish, so that's a positive.
So you had very little practice and you still came up to finish second. That is quite the effort, man, especially since there was only a one lap qualifying tonight compared to the 2 laps that we usually got. So how was the race for you trying to figure out the strategy and the best way to try and catch Tyler?
Before we even ever went green, I was saving like every race I do. But um, once I saw how many laps we went on that first run, I was like, okay, so we can roughly go 25, 26 laps. So, you pit 3 times in the race, assuming there's no cautions. And I'm surprised there was not at least one caution, especially there towards the end, since it was the last race. I figured some people would, kind of lay it on the line and maybe, mess up. But without a caution, I knew I probably wasn't going to get to Tyler because he started on pole and he never really looked back. But several people are doing different pit strategy. Like I know my two teammates, Dustin and Jerry, were on one, and I don't know if it would have worked out at the end, but they both ended up wrecking it or something. So, but hats off to Tyler. He's fastest car and he won the race. So good job. And congrats to Thomas on the championship.
Well, I can confirm for you, Dustin did go into the pits late in the run there, um, and he just disconnected from the server when he went into the pits. So I'm not sure what happened. Didn't look like he got into a crash or anything. It just looked like he might have had something that he had to get ready for.
Yeah, that might have been the case. I know he had damage though. He hit the wall pretty hard, and he was bad mouthing his truck. So I guess he just got frustrated and left.
All right, man. Well, while we got you up here in the booth, who do you have to thank?
I'd like to thank you and everyone that does your broadcast with you. I'm sure it was very good like usual. And then thanks to Jaron for the league. It was a lot of fun, and I had fun racing Jaron tonight there for about a good 15, 20 laps. I was racing him hard. I probably should have let him go, but he eventually got by me. But that last race, let's just have some fun. So yeah, good league. I can't wait till it starts back.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much for your time, Derek. Thanks for competing for the majority of the season, and it's good to see you get another podium, man.
Yeah, it's fun. See you again.
Alrighty, guys, so that was the 54 of Derek Myers finishing in P2 with a great run. It's amazing. What's your opinion on how Derek ran tonight, Logan?
Derek had a very smart race. As you heard him say there in the very beginning that he was saving fuel from the very start like he does at every race. And tonight it really paid off in that favor to be saving just that little bit extra. As we went green the entire way, and this fuel saving ordeal, you never really know what's going to happen when you go into a race. So fuel saving from the very beginning is always a smart idea, just in case it has what we had tonight where we went green. He ran a very clean race, very smart, timed everything just about right. I mean, you couldn't have had really a better race than what he had here tonight.
And I think we up here in the booth are just as surprised at him that it went green the whole way. But it's good to see everyone turned up, their brains for this final race of the season.
Yeah, I was really expecting a caution there within the last 15 laps, and we just never got it. So I was glad to see that we stayed clean pretty much the entire night. We had a few little mistakes going to pit road, but other than that, it was a very clean race.
Alrighty, and now this brings us to the next guy that we got to have a talk to. And, anytime this dude races, he is dominant. And if there's anything to do with fuel saving at all, he will just dominate even further. Of course, we're talking about Tyler. Tyler, holy shit, man. Sorry for the swear, but wow. You were just so controlled today. Again, dominant as usual, but you looked like you might have been in a little bit of trouble there a couple of times with the guys running the undercut on you earlier in the race.
Yeah, I saw a couple guys doing that. I saw Tom first stop, and saw Jared do it until he disconnected. But I knew I'd always get back on him with having fresh tires and just being a little bit better on long run in general. So I was, if he got too late caution, I'd be a little bit worried about it. Not a long run.
And how was that last pit stop there? Because we noticed that you had pitted much earlier than you usually would. You pitted with about 27 laps to go, which is the very limit of the fuel. What was the strategy there going into that last green flag stop?
Yeah, like how you said, it was a limit there. I tested that on the first run, just how far we could go, so I knew I could just short pit. And my plan was I knew I already had a pretty good sized lead, and if I just expanded that over the first couple laps, it'd be really hard to catch me back up or was in second.
And we had a complete green flag race to close out the season, which was a massive surprise to us. How was it being in the car with such a lead, knowing that the undercut was so strong, knowing that a caution could have come out at any time?
Um, well, I was felt pretty good, pretty much throughout the whole time. I knew I had a really solid lead. Didn't think anyone could catch me, but then I saw, I forget who it was, but someone started hitting the wall front stretch, and that scared me because I knew that there might be a caution coming out to some save. And we continued to go green the rest of the one, the rest of the way. I felt confident.
All
Felt good.
right, alrighty, man. Well, it was another dominant win. Who do you have to thank for helping you out here tonight?
I'd just like to thank the league, the admin, Jaron, you and Logan for putting on the broadcast. You guys do a great job. And yeah, to all the drivers tonight for going green for 100 laps of Charlotte. It's not the easiest thing to do, and I think we all did a very good job tonight.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win. I think this is what, 3 or 4 for you this season.
Yes, three.
Well, there you go, and
Good.
all of them were absolutely dominant wins too. It's incredible.
Eh, maybe not one of them, but yeah. Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. So that was the 26 of Tyler Gary, a dominant win, which we have come accustomed to seeing him do. Logan, cool, calm, and collected the entire race, and even in the interview. Uh, what is your opinion on how he ran his race today?
Perfection. I mean, you heard him there. He tested that fuel run in the very beginning of the race, and he openly said it there. So he knew his fine line, and he knew about where his limits were, and he decided to push it to the limits at the end of the race to get as big of a lead over Derek as he could, and it was. I mean, he timed it just right and did everything perfect.
Alrighty, and now this brings us to the person of the moment, the man of the season, the guy that we really wanted to talk to. And when I finally grabbed the right person to drag into the voice channel, we are, of course, talking to our series champion for 2019 Season 1, Thomas Harmon. Thomas, man, a combination of an entire season, and you've come out on top with this 5th place finish here at Charlotte tonight. Congratulations first and foremost, man.
Thank you.
Now, at what point did you think, hey, you know what, I think I might have this sealed up a little bit?
At Michigan, when Tommy had trouble and then he had said that he wasn't going to make it to the next race, I knew I had a pretty big points gap over Matt and everybody else at that point, so I just kind of tried to play it safe, but tried to go for it all the same.
What's the mindset when you come into a race weekend knowing that realistically all you've got to do is start the race and you've got the title wrapped up?
I wanted to win.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about your race then. Fuel strategy and undercut strategy seemed like the play of the day. How did it turn out for you with your 5th place finish?
It worked great until the first pit stop when I hit the brakes and I guess I hit him too hard and it whipped around, gave me a 15-second hold along with nosing it into the wall, and at that point it became kind of a management race and hoped that there was a caution that never came.
Yeah, we've been talking all night about how it stayed green. It was pretty incredible. It seemed that everyone really had their brains in tune for this race.
Yeah, I got pretty strung out there for a while, it seems like, but there towards the end there was a couple groups of cars I was hoping Somebody would put it sideways and bring out the yellow, but it just wasn't to be.
Well, either way, man, it wouldn't have mattered whether you'd finished in first or finished in last. You are the series champion, our first non-Tommy Bordeaux winner of the championship.
I hope I can surpass him in those championships.
Well, at the moment, he's sitting at 2 in a row, so you're going to have a big uphill battle next season in the A cars, especially if Tyler is going to start running with us more often.
A-car's my baby.
Alrighty, well, while we got you in here, who do you have to thank? We know you have a big list of people.
You guys at ORL, Jaron, Logan, you, putting it on every week, allowing us to come out and race and have fun with each other, and all the competitors for keeping it clean these last few races and allowing us to actually go out and have fun, race each other hard, use something other than hit every other caution strategy. All the fans that are out there watching, S2R, and guess any friends and family that might be watching as well.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, Thomas. Congratulations again, and we will see you next season in the A cars.
I will be there.
Alrighty, guys, so that was our series champion. The third season of ORL has been in operation. First season for 2019, Thomas Harmon. And now, before we end out here, we're going to talk to our league owner and operator, the one and only Jaron Sanchez. Jaron, what a way to finish off the season. A green flag race start to finish.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I hope it was a lot of fun to watch too, because I had a lot of fun, even though I ran into a little issue on pit road, but then the season out.
Oh yeah, don't worry, we saw your issue on pit road. It was definitely very clear to see. And
Yeah.
for the first time, we've got a series champion who is not Tommy Bordeaux.
Yeah, as much as we love Tommy Bordeaux, it was time for another champion there. But he's probably going to come back next season, and put up a big fight for that trophy again.
Well, talking about a big fight for the trophy, Thomas has just declared that the A car is his baby, and he's going to be trying to look strong next season.
Oh, I already know. We're all going to have to bring our A game for sure.
Well, especially with the likes of Tyler looking like he's going to be running more of a full-time schedule with us. It's definitely going to be a long, hard season next season.
Yeah, Tyler's a lot faster than I remember. He just comes in here and wins whenever he wants. It's pretty interesting. Can't wait to see what he does next season.
Alright, so speaking of next season, any spoilers that you can tell us before we wrap out this broadcast?
There's actually not really anything crazy going on yet. I don't know. I'm gonna be making a lot of decisions over the next couple weeks. I'm gonna let the drivers vote on a lot of things and figure out what we're gonna be doing exactly. But there's actually, unfortunately, there's really not much to tell at the moment. Besides, we're gonna be running the A car, and we're gonna be running the A car.
Alrighty, well, we'll get you to stick around in here while we close out the stream. Guys, thank you all for coming out and watching and supporting the Output Racing League, even while I was without a computer and there was no broadcast. Your support has been absolutely amazing. For everyone here at the ORL, all the drivers, officials, admins, and Jaron, because why not? We'd like to thank you guys again for coming and checking us out, and we hope that you come back to watch Season 2 of 2019, where we are indeed in the A car. And yeah, make sure you come back and watch us here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the stream, so that way we know that you're here and watching. And we'll see you guys next season.